Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to the podcast and posse, ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today I am going to teach you how to sell out your programs, private coaching, and courses using video. There's quite a few people out there that would call me a video expert or a video marketing expert, which I appreciate the title and I'll take it. So here's the thing. I started my career as a TV news broadcaster. So those of you who actually listen to the intro of the show will know that I was on NBC and CBS. So I am a professionally trained broadcaster. Like I went to college for it. I honed my skills really well over the years. So I want you to know that background, number one, why in the hell you should listen to me on this topic. And number two, so you don't compare yourself to me when you're going to look at my stories or my lives or ProjectME TV or any of my content that has video and are like, oh my God, in order for me to sell out my programs and courses and one-on-one coaching using video, I have to be like Tiffany. No, you don't. This is many years in the making, lots and lots of practice and lots of embarrassing moments. Like if you're really bored and you want to laugh, go deep in the Google archives and you'll find really horrifying, embarrassing things I did on live TV back in the day. Not good, not cute. One involved a cow. That's all I have to say. I'm from the city. You should not have a girl from the city be milking cows on live TV. Things happen. Things happen. Wasn't cute. Ended up on that show, Bloopers and Practical Jokes. For those of you who remember that show, I think they still do some reruns. But even long after that show was off the air, that one still made it on the reruns. Not cute. So I want you to know that I've made an ass of myself many times on live TV with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people watching. And that's just going to happen, right? So the same thing happens on Instagram, on Facebook Lives. Sometimes you guys are going to do, media appearances, whether it's for a local news station, on radio, on a podcast. And it's not going to be your best day, or something embarrassing will happen. You'll sneeze on the air. You thought an outfit looked really cute and it ended up being a huge fail. I mean, you see that with celebrities too. Here they have full teams, stylists, makeup artists, agents, all the things. And then they end up in the tabloids because they have all this white looking baby powder all over their face on the red carpet. Because when you look, what you look like in front of normal lighting versus really strong flash bulb lighting is night and day difference. It's embarrassing. And now that's all over the place. So you got to be able to kind of get to a point where, I call it the fuck it point. As crude as it might be, I like to swear. You guys don't care, or you wouldn't be listening. But you got to get to that point where it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I make an ass out of myself. I did a live last week that some of you probably watched where, I did the live for like a solid 20 minutes knowing I had a booger in my nose and it was visible. Like if I tilted my head a certain way, you could see it. And I was like, you know what? I'll get to it in a second, but I didn't want to break like my thought process and what I was teaching. That was far more important. And then I just incorporated the booger into the entire live. I was like, all right, you guys, I know most of you've seen it. You'll probably DM me after. So we're going to just like deal with my booger right now. I've got a bat in the cave. It's got to go. And I picked my nose right there live. I've gotten to that fucking point. I don't care. What I care about more is teaching you guys the stuff that you want to learn from me in order to get you to where you want to go in your business, financially, and life. That's far more important than if I make an ass out of myself. Like I've done it enough times, I'm desensitized. Are there some times where I'm like, oh God, that was so bad? Yeah, it usually happens if I do like media appearances, or if I see pictures taken of me and I'm speaking on a stage or something and it's on a really bad angle and the outfit I thought looked cute made me look like Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, that's not fun. My ego doesn't like it, but I get over it a lot faster. You know what? It is what it is. And I don't think anyone is hiring me, listening to me, reading my stuff, all based on me needing to be perfect, me needing to look a certain way, and nor is anyone doing that with you guys. So you really got to get to that point. Getting to fuck it that might be a little far off for some of you. So you got to get to a point of, you know what, I'll at least try it. And if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. At least get along that path to fuck it. Otherwise, what happens is you guys appear really, really uptight on video. And I see this with my private clients I work with who are really well-spoken people. You guys, smart, well-written, but then something happens when you go on live or you're going on video. It's like all of a sudden you turn into like, I need to be a professional spokesperson in Washington, D.C. And you lose all of that, naturalness about you, what the quirks about you, the stuff that makes you fun. You turn into like this rigid version of yourself that you would never speak like that to a friend or even to a client normally, right? Obviously, right, if I am, being interviewed on TV, I don't swear. There's certain podcasts where I know not to swear because of who their audience is, or on like radio shows or things like that. I know not to swear, so I don't have, that element of me in there. And maybe I sit up a little straighter, but other than that, like I'm talking to the viewer. I'm not talking to the damn newscaster next to me or the reporter talking to me. Ultimately, who I'm speaking to is the viewer at home, right? And I want you guys to think that way when you're using video. Who are you talking to? And you have to be really clear. You can't just say like, oh, women or young men, or, new moms. I need you to be really clear. This is why, if you've listened to other episodes of mine, for those of you who are in my ProjectME posse, I have you actually print out a photo or get a photo of your ideal customer and put it next to where you guys do your content. I want you to name your ideal customer. This is not just some cute exercise. This is because you need to humanize this person. Because when we're behind a screen, it's like, I'm just talking to a camera. That's weird, right? I need you guys to actually picture this person and drop into the feelings of talking to that person. Most of your ideal clients are in a lot of pain. That's why they're coming to you. They're insecure about their bodies. They want to lose weight. They feel like crap. They feel lost in their lives. They have anxiety. They're broke. They keep trying all these things in their business and nothing seems to be working, or they're getting clients, but not enough to really, not enough to really quit their job, and they feel stuck and they're starting to lose motivation. They're in a lot of pain. So I need you to drop into that feeling of pain that they're in. How would you speak to a friend who is sharing that they're in that same kind of pain? You'd speak very differently than most of you guys are speaking. So before, you pick your topic, okay, whatever your topic is, let's say you have some tips around, what to eat that decreases bloating. I'm just picking something random, all right, that helps decrease bloating and aid digestion, because when we're bloated, we end up feeling crappy, and none of us want that, let's just say that's what it is. And the person that you're speaking to, right? You got to get really into it. Maybe your niche or niche, niche sounds really annoying to me. So I'm just going to say niche. Niche is like, really? Are we really doing that? But let me know. Take a screenshot of this episode and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany and tell me, are you a niche person or a niche person? And does niche it's kind of like the aunt or aunt. It's like, I know aunt or auntie sounds so fancy, but it's not working for me. But I want to know, are you niche or niche? Take a screenshot, share it, and tag me, and then I'll reshare it in my stories, you guys. So going back to this bloating example, what is your ideal client in this situation? Why would this piece of information be so helpful to him or her? Is it because she has a lot of stomach issues from her anxiety? Is it because she's eating all the wrong foods and it causes this bloating? And what does that bloating make her feel like? Like she can't work out, she feels insecure, she doesn't feel cute, she ends up isolating and not going anywhere, so she feels lonely. Go really deep into the emotions of all of it. So then when you go to press live or when you go to record a video, you're in that energy of speaking to one person who is in pain, and you have a helpful solution to their pain, to their problem. It doesn't have to take it all away. It could ease it a little bit. It could ease it 5%. That's enough. It doesn't have to be some grand thing, but what can you share with them? And just give that little bit of ease in their pain. And how would you talk to someone? I guarantee you'd speak very differently if you're picturing another human, and that human is an ideal customer with a name, a gender, an age, and everything, who's coming to you with a problem, and you're sharing back something that might be helpful to them. So drop into that feeling. The next thing is, I need you guys to tell stories. Okay? Stories sell, facts and stats repel. So I need you to tell stories, but they have to be relatable to that ideal customer we talked about, especially on video. Share stories about something that happened that day, or it could be a story that got you into doing this type of coaching or this type of business in the first place. Share a fail you had and what you learned from it. And if you're like, well, Tiffany, I don't have any stories on this. Well, share a client story. I mean, don't share the client's name, obviously, but say I have a client who, or I had a former client who, or people I work with, or there's someone who I've worked with, or a friend of mine. There's so many stories out there. Share a story that is in the pain point of your ideal client. Okay, that's in that pain, that is relatable. I was sharing with someone today who is, here I'm doing it now too. Now I'm telling you a story. I was sharing to someone today who did a 90-minute intensive, and she is a relationship coach, and that's too broad. You have to niche way down from there in order to make any cash. So we were working on it. And we were talking about, how does your ideal client talk? Does your ideal client talk like looking to call in my soulmate and, my soulmate with ease and clarity? No, That is not that is not how someone who is single, who is feeling lonely and isolated and less than, is typing into Google and looking in the self-help section of Barnes and Noble, is looking for like your soul calling. Okay? That's not what they're typing in. So you need to speak their language so people feel heard and understood. This builds the trust factor. This makes people go, oh my God, she totally knows what I'm thinking. She gets me. And then when you go to share something insightful or a solution or a different way to think about something or an exercise that they can do, it's like, wow, this really resonates with me. She gets me. She understands my pain. She just gave me like something to think about I've never thought about before. Oh my God, I want to learn more. What else does she have? And then this is how you get people to buy your stuff, because your free content, the stuff that you give out there, is so good, so relatable, speaking directly to that person to where it's like almost creepy. Like, you're in my mind. You're like reading my mind. I get that all the time. Like, whoa, Tiffany, are you reading my mind? Or I get, wow, I really needed to hear this today. And you know what my response is? I know you did. And in a very loving way, because I've created such a close relationship with my ideal customer, Sally Sandabs. I say I laugh whenever I say that name. That's a fun trick to name your ideal client. You know, it doesn't have, you guys, this doesn't have to be so serious. Like, give him or her a name. That's fun. Sally Sandabs makes me laugh. But my relationship with her is almost like, seriously, like having an imaginary friend. I do not write any piece of content, edit any piece of content, come on TV, whether it's live, whether it's a pre-recorded video, doing this podcast, for example, without me dropping down into the feeling and really picturing that I am looking right now at Sally, and she's really struggling in her business to get consistent clients and cash. And she really wants to, you know, fill her programs, her retreats, her masterminds, sell tickets, sell jewelry, whatever it is, she really wants to, and something's not clicking, and she sees all these people online selling everything left and right, and she's wondering what's going wrong. Maybe she's not cut out for it. Maybe she's not pretty enough. Maybe she's not boss babe enough, like doesn't know what to do, and feels like she's tried everything and is starting to get defeated. That's how far I need you guys to go with this. So then when I come on to do something like this, I'm in the energy of already knowing how you guys feel. That frustration, being like, oh my God, you know, it's already so much work showing up for video. And then when I don't get any results or leads or sales from it, then it's like so defeating. It's like, why am I pouring my heart and soul and effort and time and energy out there and I'm not getting anything back? I get it. And you guys aren't necessarily doing something wrong. You've just not been taught. There's not many people that are teaching this. You've just not been taught. So you need to speak that language of your ideal client. The easiest way to do this is storytelling from your own life and being humble and sharing embarrassing stuff. It can be funny stuff. It can be big wins. It doesn't have to be negative stuff, but it can also be like, you know, at a point in my life, I was here. Here's a story for you. Okay. And you guys, some of you guys have heard this. By the time I was 30, I had $1 million in the bank. Within 3 months, I lost almost all of that money. And I was in shock. It was something that woke me up. It was something that made me realize that there was definitely something broken inside of me that needed to be fixed, that needed to be reworked and looked at. And that's what made me start seeking out things like money mindset, law of attraction, manifestation, because I was afraid, right, that I would go then and make more money and then lose that money. And that would be insane. It was a real wake up call for me. And that's why I love incorporating, and it's absolutely necessary to incorporate deep mindset training with all of my coaching programs, whether they're private or group or courses, because you can't out strategize or outwork a broken mindset. I just told you a story. Do you see what I did there? That was a story. That's a story that's relatable to people. Maybe they've not had $1 million in the bank, right? But it's a story that gets someone's attention, like, oh my God, it's like me. It's like, I can't seem to get ahead. I'll have some money in the bank and then it's gone, or I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but like, oh my God, I can't imagine actually having that much money and then losing almost all of it. So stories are what are so compelling, and they're interesting, and it's not some boring shit like, do this ab routine. Do this ab routine today and you do it once a week and you'll have abs. Boring. Yeah, you can share your tips. I can tell you your best practices like I am right now in video, but we need to have some storytelling. We need to make it interesting in order for people to listen. Otherwise, you might as well watch that horrible news network, C-SPAN. Have you guys ever watched that? Awful. There's a reason no one watches it. And it's like, anytime I see it, I'm like, does anyone ever watch this? And if they do, we would not be friends. Okay. So when you share this story, right, that's relatable to the subject matter that you're coming on to teach and talk about that day, right? Don't leave people hanging. You need to give them some kind of a solution, some kind of a pain ointment, right? You might not be giving them the full pill and the pain relief treatment, but give them some ointment, give them some relief, give them something to think about, something tangible that they can do, some exercise, give them something that's relatable to the story. So going on with my story about, losing the $1 million, almost $1 million in 3 months, and telling that whole story, let's say I was doing that as a live, or I was doing that in my Instagram stories or a podcast or something. I would say one of the key things that I did that really shifted that scarcity, poverty mindset into a millionaire mindset was that I had to believe that I was worthy of making great money, that it's actually selfish not to make great money. Because when you make great money, you can help support more causes and help more people. It's selfish to be in scarcity. It's selfish to be poor. It's selfish to be a broke ass. It's selfless to create the most abundance you can and then share that with the world. That was the most, eye-opening thing for me to learn, because I felt like I was being selfish, all about money, spoiled, high maintenance. Those are all the feelings I had around having a lot of money. And so that was one of the big shifts I made. Okay, so you guys see what I did. I just gave a really clear, big tip, big thing that I shifted mindset-wise after sharing this story. That's enough right there. That's enough right there for people to go, wow, I never thought about that. That's really, really interesting. That's enough for your video. That's enough right there. Now you need to go into, right, your call to action, because the whole point of this podcast episode is how to sell. You don't always have to be selling something, but let's say you're in launch mode, or you need to fill up your pipeline for private clients or whatever it is. You share a story, you share some kind of a tip, solution, insight, and it can't be some basic crap either, you guys. Don't even bother if it's going to be basic, because it doesn't work. You want to share your best shit. Psychologically, it shows people that you're of integrity, and it also makes them go, oh my God, this was so good. Imagine what I'll get when I actually pay her. So don't be afraid to share some of your best shit. After you've given, right, like let's go back on my little role play thing. Like after I have said my whole thing about one of the biggest insightful things that I've learned in mindset shifts is blank, I share all that. Then I say, if you liked what you heard and you liked learning about this shift I made, and you want to learn about the other shifts that I made that got me to not only recover myself after losing almost everything that I had made for many, many years to now being a multimillionaire, I've put it all together for you in my signature course. And in this signature course, we are going to reframe your mindset from that scarcity, poverty mindset into a millionaire mindset using my proven methods that can even help someone who is the most stubborn of all in order to get you there. And what I can promise you along the way is more abundance will come into your life as you go through this amazing process in a million different ways, not just cash, but in gifts of people's time and attention and help. You're going to start seeing this everywhere as your mindset shifts, because what we focus on, we attract, and what we attract, we continue to attract into our lives. And I'd rather you be on the high vibe abundance attraction path rather than the low vibe scarcity path. And that's when you attract sudden bills that shock you, your car breaking down, realizing that you didn't get the bonus that you thought you were going to get, or you didn't land the clients that you wanted to land. I want to make sure you're in that energy of abundance. So swipe up right now, or, I'm doing a role play. I have the swipe up. If you don't have the swipe up, you can say, go to the link in bio right now in order to get my course. It is only going to be available for the next 5 days. So make sure you get in there in order to take your life to the level that you deserve and stop living paycheck to paycheck and being worried if you're going to have enough money, because this can end today. Do you guys see what I did there? So I told a story. I gave a really solid, good insight, solution, a helpful solution in the story, and then said, you want more of this and you want to go further with this. I've created something for you and the shit's good. That's how you sell on video, is this exact formula. So I know a lot of you are probably writing stuff down like crazy, or if you're multitasking, you're like, oh my God, oh crap, I'm not going to remember all this. So just go back through it. It's okay. Go back through this, write down these key points. This is an outline I just gave you for free on how to sell using video. And I don't care what you're selling, t-shirts, necklaces, you're trying to get traffic into, a medical office, or traffic into a brick and mortar store or a restaurant, or you're a life coach, you're a business coach, a relationship coach. It doesn't matter. The same principles apply. Here's what you guys can also do. If you want me to look at one of your videos that you post, and just assess it to see, was I on the right track or not? Now, if it's some 30-minute video, I'm not going to watch that shit. Love you guys, but I don't have the time to watch that. You have to pay me to watch that. But if you have, you did a short video or story, Instagram stories or something like that, just tag me in it at ProjectME with Tiffany, and you can minimize it. It doesn't have to show my name. You can shrink it down, and then just DM me and let me know. Or you can just actually paste the video right in the DMs, and I'll let you know, as long as it's short, I'll let you know if you're on the right track or not. Okay? Because I really want you guys to nail this. You nail this, and without a doubt, your sales significantly will increase. Without a doubt. Unless, of course, you have a mindset that is deeply broken within, like I used to have, and then you're going to need to have my signature course that's coming out. In all seriousness. All right, you guys, love this episode. I need you to do me a favor, for real. Do me a favor for this highly valuable, outline and lesson I've given you today. If you would, in exchange, please go to iTunes and do a written 5-star review. It has to be written. and it has to be on iTunes. And even if you're not an Apple person, you can still do a review on iTunes. This would really, really mean a lot to me. I read each and every one of them. I share them often in my stories. And what this does, for those of you who might be curious why this shit's so important, is as long as you have regular reviews, written reviews on your show, it makes the iTunes algorithm happy, and then it ends up suggesting your show more often to people. If you don't have regular reviews, you won't get shown. It's very similar to comments on Instagram. If you don't have good engagement on Instagram, then Instagram's not going to show you as a suggested person to follow. Very similar premise. I really appreciate you guys for doing that, for listening, to being great supporters of the show. I look forward to talking to all you guys in the DMs and seeing your videos, and wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.